Welcome back to Practical AutoCAD and Inventor. In this video, I will introduce the Key tool, a powerful feature designed to simplify the process of creating and customizing keys and keyways for mechanical assemblies. Whether you're designing complex machinery or crafting precise components, the Key tool provides everything you need, including an array of standard components. Let's get started. The purpose of a key and a keyway is to lock a shaft and a pulley or similar items together so that they don't spin independently of each other. In this case, I've got this shaft that I've already designed and this pulley that I've already designed. I placed this shaft into the assembly environment grounded at the origin, but this pulley I only placed one constraint on so that the axis of this shaft and the center axis of the pulley are aligned, but you can see that I can move it in and out and I can turn it as well. So what a key does is it's a groove that goes into the shaft and into the pulley, and then you place a piece of, usually a piece of steel, maybe brass or other type of material, so that it locks those two together. And Autodesk Inventor will do this for us. In order to create the keyway, you're going to go to the Design tab right here in AutoCAD or in Autodesk Inventor, and then on the Power Transmission panel, you will choose the Key option right here, the Key tool. It's going to launch the Design connection generator here, and it's going to give us several different options. The place I'm going to start right here is I'm going to choose which key I want, and if I go to this drop down here, you'll see that there are dozens of choices for me to choose what kind of key that I want. And if I limit this a little bit, let's say I'm going to use the ANSI standards, you'll see that there's just a few of them. So I'm going to pick this rectangular key right here in the middle. And what it does is it comes in and it says, okay, this key is 1/4 of an inch by 3/16 of an inch by 3/8 of an inch long. This number right here you can vary, and if I go to this point right here, I can say that I want this key to be, in this case, 7/8 of an inch long because of the size of this pulley that I've made here. Then what I can do is on the shaft groove, I'm going to begin with the shaft, and I'm going to say let's create a new one, and I'm going to say I want this shaft right here to be my reference. And then it automatically switches and it asks me for the planar work plane, which I'm going to choose the end of that shaft there as my work plane. You can see what it does is it begins by simulating my key, that's the yellow-green one here, and then the keyway itself, which you can see obviously isn't long enough at this point. But I can come in here and I can, ultimately I can say I want it to have a plane groove right here, so I'll click plane groove. And you'll notice now that it makes this longer and stretches it out. Now at this point, my keyway is at the, in this case, maybe at the 3 o'clock position or at the 0 position on this shaft. If I want it to be at the top of this shaft instead, what I can do is I can change the orientation of that keyway. In order to change the orientation of the keyway, you need to expand the shaft part in your history browser and expand the origin so that you can choose your XY plane here. So I'll say I want the orientation to be on this XY plane right here, and you'll see that it shifts it up to the top. You have to pick the plane in the part itself. I can't go to this origin up here and pick it here. So once I've done that, I've got the shaft and the key, or the shaft slot and the key in the place that I want. Now what I can do is I can come over here and I can say, where do I want my hub groove to go? So if I go to my hub groove here, I can say I want it to start here, and then it automatically switches and asks for the reference, and I'll just pick that corner right there. You'll notice that it puts in the matching keyway right here. Okay, this keyway is going to cut this in place, and then if I need to, I can change the orientation, but I don't. And then what I can do is I can just hit OK, because you can see by these are all active, it's going to generate the key, it's going to cut the shaft groove, and it's going to cut the hub groove. So I choose OK, and then it asks me, do I want to create these parts? I'll choose OK again, and then it takes a moment and it creates the shaft groove, the key, and the groove in the keyway. Now as I move this hub back and forth, or this sprocket or flywheel or whatever it is back and forth, you'll see now that it doesn't spin. The only thing that I need to do now is come back in here and add maybe one more constraint to it so that it's locked in place. So I'm just going to come in and I will add an assembly constraint between say that center there and that center there, and then OK, and now you can see that everything is in place and locked in place, and you can tell that it's locked in place because now in my browser over here, all of these nodes for my parts have the little black dot right here saying that they are all completely grounded. The other thing that it does, if I go to the parts themselves, you'll see that it puts that groove in the part there, and it puts that same groove in the pulley there. So everything is fully updated and ready to go for your design. Thanks for watching.